Hi everyone, I'm Rajat and I'm the Chief Evangelist in Nature and Thought. We are a dietary supplement brand that is fueled by science and sourced from nature. We are using this platform to bring you health related information and help you talk to experts so that you and us can both grow and learn more about how we can take better care of our health. Today, on the occasion of Women's Day or on the eve of Women's Day, I wanted to actually bring in and talk to somebody, specifically an expert about women's health. And who to talk to more better than a woman herself? So, with that, I'd like to introduce you all to Tanvi Rangnekar. Tanvi is a fitness professional who has completed her diploma in personal training for special populations, and human performance nutrition from K11 School of Fitness Sciences. What continues to inspire me about Tanvi is her scientific approach towards fitness and how she's so committed to help her clients become stronger, more confident, and her dedication to help them reach their optimal performance. It is surprising to know that actually she has done her bachelor's in mass media and completed her master's in advertising and mass media from St. Xavier's. She even worked with Ogilvy Major Advertising for 2.5 years before she shifted gears completely and accelerated her way into fitness. So, with that, welcome Tanvi to Nature and
Hi.
Thought. I'm so excited to finally do this with you and get the opportunity to talk.
Likewise, super excited.
So, Tanvi, jumping right into things, first, let's understand why. What caused you to have that much of a drastic shift or change in your career?
Right. So I was always passionate and inclined towards fitness. Even then, when back in the day when I was working with advertising, I used to, perform some activity or the other, keeping myself a little busy whenever I used to squeeze in a free time during my advertising journey. So either do yoga, Pilates, or do some
Hmm.
activity, cardio, or something or the other. But the entire process of advertising, the erratic working hours, it was too draining. And somehow I couldn't see myself 10, 12 years down the line in advertising, doing account management and working. So that, and so that's when I decided to make this switch. And of course, I did my groundwork, spoke to people from the industry, and I wasn't fully aware that, okay, you could make a career here or you could help people, counsel people, understand all of that. But once that was set in, I just dived in and, there we are, here we are, rather.
It's, you're among the very few women or people I have in general talked to who have been brave enough to make such drastic changes, but really go after and pursue your dreams and, kind of envision that future for yourself. So hats off to you and kudos to you for doing that.
Thank
And
you.
how many years has it been now?
It has been it has been 6 years now.
Wow,
Yeah,
wow. Yeah, and you're enjoying the journey, I'm guessing.
absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah.
Thoroughly enjoyed.
Fantastic. So, talking about women's health today, Tanvi, where do you feel like in over the last decade or in the last 6 years, have you yourself experienced or seen that? Do you think women's health has improved in India specifically?
So I would say women and men both, we are aware that, okay, we are aware of fitness and people are heading to working out, and you would see gyms at every lane, every, like nook and corner. But metabolically, if we have to compare in the past decade, yes, we are getting, in fact, metabolically more ill. So there is like an onset and a rise of your metabolically related, lifestyle related disorders like your type 2 diabetes, your thyroid dysfunction, then your polycystic ovary disorder in women, then even your hypertension, fatty liver. All of these things are at a rise if we make a comparison back then to now. So somewhere something is lacking, and somewhere something is going wrong. In spite of being aware of, in spite of knowing that, okay, fitness is there, in spite of heading towards that, but somewhere something is going wrong, definitely.
But we see so many fit people online.
Right,
So, is
right,
that then an illusion?
right. So I was just coming to that the problem lies in, we are intrigued by social media, and it does have a positive, negative, and overall impact on us. So when we see fit people, athletic people online, that is actually just the 5% of our population. People who are active, their job demands, so they have to be socially that active, and they exercising, eating right. So that is only the 5%. But we still have the 95% of the population who is not working out, who is not eating right, who are, metabolically getting unhealthy. So we tend to just see the 5%, which is in the nice light, and we ignore the 95%. Jinka, we don't have an idea on what they are doing. There are no
Yeah.
records.
Yeah, and it's as we're talking about this, I'm thinking that is it that the 95%, are we talking that they are, is it like, can we tell that they are fit just by looking at their body size? Or there are people who could be, thin,
Right.
slim, all of that, but still fall in that 95% of the unfit India.
Absolutely. Right. So, of course, your body composition, your body size, the way you are tells you a lot. But even people who are skinny, who are leaner, right? And let's say have no history of working out or whatsoever, or even of eating right. But just because they are thin does not mean they're metabolically healthy. That's when then you do your couple of blood tests to know if, you're metabolically healthy or no, and how exactly is your blood work functioning and all of that. So just body composition is not an indication. Definitely, you then need to get in your couple of tests and everything to know that how metabolically healthy you are.
And how much of an impact does your metabolic health have on your overall health and longevity, health longevity?
100%. So it's, the lifestyle related disorders that I mentioned, they're all linked together. So it's like a cycle. So, you're type 2 diabetic, which means you're insulin resistant, which means, you know, majority, majority of the times you'll be obese or overweight. There are even, diabetics who are thin as well.
Mm.
So there are both sides, but they
Yeah.
have insulin resistance. So, of course, I was not saying that obesity is the factor, but
Mm.
everything, like your hormones
Mm.
are not functioning properly,
Yeah.
women suffering from PCOD, women suffering from thyroid dysfunctioning,
Mm.
having grade 1, grade 2, grade 3 non alcoholic fatty liver. So, all those things, hypertension. And
Mm.
also, Rajat, the issue is that, these things are getting very common. So, if you see around in your household, okay, my mom is a diabetic, my dad is a diabetic, okay, and friends, okay, my mother. So they are just thinking it's normal because a
Yeah.
lot of people are getting it, but actually
Yeah.
it's just the start of something dangerous.
Yeah, and it's almost like, yeah, you're right. Like, it's almost like having diabetes is normalized now. Like, as you go
Right.
old, that happens. And
Right.
you and me both know, and you more, that type 2 diabetes is completely reversible and can be
Absolutely.
managed in so many different ways.
Absolutely.
So it's so extremely important. And also, for me, I've started my journey in going to the gym, something I could have never done before.
Hmm.
But when I use the different equipment today, I can
Hmm.
see how that was part of maybe people's general lifestyle 40, 50 years ago. When you're doing your
Right.
different hand
You're
workouts,
rowing.
cycling, you're moving. I mean, these are things women used to do, this kind of hard labor, even if they were grinding spices, right?
Absolutely.
But today we are not doing that, and neither are we exercising, which is a
Right.
big problem.
Right.
So, tell me then, are there things women should be doing, something that maybe they're traditionally, or is there a reason why they're shying away from certain things that could massively improve their health?
Right. So shying away, like rightly you said, there are no two ways about it, and there's no hiding behind it. That when it comes to strength training, weight training, a lot of association is from a woman, from a girl, that oh my god, I want to. So the common word used is I want to look toned, but I don't want to get muscular, and I don't want to have muscles. But I want to look toned.
Mm.
So when a woman says, I want to look toned, it simply means scientifically that you carry more muscle than the fat. And as
Oh,
a result, you're toned. So वही meaning हो जाता है that you're carrying muscle and there is no flabby fat around it, which means you're toned. But the association is, oh, I don't want to get bulky, I don't want to get muscular, which is scientifically not possible because the level of
Mm.
testosterone in women is low as compared to men. And the level of estrogen in women is higher and in men is lower. So this is how we are genetically, as man, as women, as this is how we're designed. So it's not naturally possible that you will get bulky or you will get muscular by strength training, weight training. In fact, it is going to make you stronger, it is going to make your muscles stronger, your bone density, bone health is going to improve. Even
Mm.
when women after 45, 50, when they hit menopause, they lose a lot of essential minerals in this process of
Yeah.
transition. So like
Yeah.
your calcium, your magnesium, your other vitamins, antioxidants are lost. So when you put a positive stress on the body via weight training, via strength training, or let's say via any activity, that's
Mm.
when the uptake of nutrients also happens beautifully, optimally,
Mm.
right? And we also develop great core strength, which has a transfer effect in our day to day activities. So when a
Mm.
woman conceives, having good core strength will be, you will be able to bear the entire process with ease in terms of the whole process. So
Mm.
if you compare, even the rate of C-section has gone up a lot higher as it
Yeah.
was before.
Yeah. No, so true. And I guess one of the things that I would like to ask you is, what are the benefits? Like, so beyond, yes, doing this, like, why should I still bother to do strength training? Like, worst case, I won't have, muscle mass, but where after a certain age, how does that help you?
Right. So muscle is a metabolically active tissue. So the more muscle you carry, the better and the greater lean body mass you will hold. And at the
Mm.
same time, even your basal metabolic rate, your BMR will also be improving because again, having a good BMR is means that you're carrying sufficient muscle because muscle is a metabolically active tissue, right? So with weight training, with strength training, you're giving that resistance to your muscles, to your bones, and as a result, improving a lot of things. But the
Mm.
important thing to understand, like in the start, you said that a lot of activities used to match to women
Mm.
who used to do, before, like our grandmothers, our great grandmothers, our parents. So we shouldn't forget that if one is heading towards weight training, strength training,
Mm.
it just should not limit to the four floors, to the closed doors of your gym or your
Mm.
fitness club. It should have a transfer effect in your day-to-day activities. Like let's say you're deadlifting, you're
Mm.
basically lifting a dead object off the floor.
Mm.
So improving, taking care of the form and technique gets all the more important when you're doing any lift.
Yeah.
First, it should look graceful, and second, entire 100% utilization of all your muscles. So let's say you're deadlifting,
Yay. Yeah.
right?
I'm glad you're showing
you're
this to us.
yeah. So you're
Awesome.
deadlifting something off the floor. What is this side? Yeah.
This way.
So, right. So now I'm lifting a heavy object off the floor. So the common mistake that we do is just lift with our back rounded
Yeah.
versus using our entire body as one unit and lifting it from the floor. So in this, I use my entire body. Where I'm using my glutes, I'm using my quadriceps,
Yeah.
my hamstrings,
Yeah.
my calf muscles, and my back muscles to lift
Just
the
like you
weight.
would have done when you were doing a deadlift, right?
Right, absolutely. And you
Yeah.
take care of this when you're lifting something heavy, like day to day, you're lifting like a heavy suitcase and you're keeping it off. So you deadlifted and then you did an overhead press by keeping it off.
Mm.
So that's how,
Mm.
even in terms of designing your exercises and everything, this is what we call making it functional, where you're using it in your day to day activities.
Mm.
So there is a transfer effect, and that's how exercises and strength training and weight training get functional.
No, that makes a lot of sense. And if you were to tell me that I should follow this, or these are things that you should do at my age, say at 40 plus or earlier, what would that schedule or an ideal schedule look like in terms of exercise for women?
In terms of exercise. So ideally, it should be 3 days strength training, weight training, and 3 days of any cardiovascular activity that you like. So it doesn't necessarily have to be, so when it comes to cardio, it doesn't necessarily have to be running on the treadmill or, cycling in the
Mm,
gym. It can
mm,
be, going for your brisk walks. It could be doing any activity you like, swimming, which is again a
mm,
mix of an aerobic and an anaerobic activity, where you're doing it in presence of oxygen and without oxygen,
mm,
in the absence of oxygen.
mm,
So it could be that if you enjoy playing a sport, then, if you enjoy playing tennis, if you enjoy playing football, then that could be on the other alternate days versus the alternate days that you're doing your strength training. So this
mm,
is how you do a mix of, so you do your strength training on 3 alternate days, followed
mm,
by the other 3 alternate days, you do your cardiovascular activities. And one day you do rest and recovery. Even
mm.
in your cardiovascular activity, you could add some extra stretching, for better circulation. So you could add in some yoga as well in between. So this is how you can mix and match and follow like a schedule.
I started smiling because you mentioned rest and recovery, and I was like,
Right.
"Tell me a bit more about that." No, and so, Tanvi, what's the how early can you start, or is there an age where it's too early to start this?
No, no, there's no age limit to stop, and there's no age limit to start. So it's great,
Mm,
as early as you can start, provided the kid is ready for it. So let's say, the kid is 7, 8 years old,
mm,
and let's say the kid is inclined towards strength training, weight training, towards developing his or her strength. Then whenever the kid is ready, that's the right time to start. But there is
mm.
no age limit to that. So you can start however young you want, as long as the kid is interested in starting the activity.
And there's a common, I feel like, I mean, I've heard a lot of people say, and I've been afraid to do this because every time my son does, he starts picking up some dumbbells, while we're exercising. I keep telling him, no, don't do that. Like it will,
Hmm.
stunt your growth. Is that
Right.
true?
No, absolutely not. No. So the development of our bone, the way your ligament is going to be, the way your entire bone is going to be, is already genetically decided. That's how it is. So the girl or the boy's height is going to stop at a particular age, and it's already determined how tall he or she is going to be. So doing some pull-ups or doing push-ups or doing squats or doing deadlifts or doing any overhead activities or doing any activities for that matter will
Mm.
not stunt your height or will not stunt your growth. In
Good to
fact,
know.
like,
Thanks for clarifying that.
right. In fact, basketball players, they play basketball, right? Now,
Right.
most of them are tall. Now,
Mm.
that is an advantage that they are taller. And as a result, like, it's an advantage in the game of basketball. They are not tall because they play basketball.
Mm. That's also a common misconception then.
Right, right. Correct.
We feel like if we
Right.
keep doing this,
So height
we'll
बढ़
get
जाएगा.
tall. But I feel, some of these things are what received, at birth, and that is what something that's going to follow you through. But one thing I know from our conversation is how much muscle and as a function of that, how healthy you can be is definitely not something that's written at birth for you.
Right.
You can definitely change that.
Definitely. And
So since
definitely.
you,
And even
yeah, yeah, go
even
ahead.
taking your health in, hand, you can definitely reverse a lot of these metabolically related disorders. And in fact, strength training, weight training is super essential and important for women over men, because
Mm,
preserving your lean body mass gets difficult as you grow
mm,
older. It gets equally difficult for men also, but because of the advantage of having higher levels of testosterone as compared to a girl or a woman, it gets slightly easier for men to preserve the muscle. Having
mm.
said this, as we age, for men, for women, you're going to lose muscle at every age, provided you're not doing any activity or doing something about it. So the important takeaway should be to maintain your lean body mass, maintain
Yeah.
your muscle, and ladies, if girls, if y'all are, putting in all the hard work in gym, in your activities, then you need to eat right as well. Because
Mm,
it's like the tripod of fitness. You have your rest and recovery, you have your exercise, your activities, and you have your optimal nutrition. So all three need to be in place. If you just move one leg of the tripod, it's going to topple off.
Yeah.
So, you're going to, irrespective of not resting enough, irrespective of eating, like, not taking care, you're going to get results. But you need optimized results, and you need to keep all these three factors in mind.
Yeah, and I feel like for me, my own personal experience has been that my mom at the age of 60 got her knees operated, and we thought
Hmm.
that was going to be the solution. But just
Hmm.
because she's had so much muscle loss already, because she's just one of those people I don't think has ever exercised,
Right,
um,
right.
even though she has a brand new knee, her body can't take that weight now, and she's still in pain because
Okay,
her
right.
muscles are not
Muscles
supportive.
around it.
Yeah, they're not
Right.
supportive, and the doctor told her that later, and she was so upset. Like, you should have told me, I would have worked out sooner.
Right.
And like you said, there's no age to start. I mean, sooner, of course, better.
Right.
Right? So, Tanvi, is there a message that you would like to leave us all with, and especially on this occasion of Women's Day? For women, is there a message you would like to give us?
Definitely. Girls, ladies, don't shy away from getting stronger, from improving your health. And weight training, strength training is not going to make you look bulky or not going to make you muscular. In fact, yes, you can have your the way I want to look. You can have your aim and your goals, but it is simply going to increase your strength, make you more stronger, right? There's going to be a transfer effect in your day-to-day activities. It's going to help you preserve muscle, and as a result of all these factors, you're going to look good. It also has an anti-aging benefit, but don't go for the aesthetic value of it. You know, these things are a byproduct. Looking good, looking fit, like the way we resonate, girls resonate, looking toned. All these things are byproducts. So don't chase the byproduct, chase the goal of getting stronger and
Right,
performing better. And
right.
as a result, feeling more confident, and the things follow. Like, an example would be like a Formula One car.
Hmm.
It looks so bloody good, but it looks that way because it can perform that way. So it's not designed to look good, but it's compact. It has those wheels, it has that engine, it has all of those things, so that the performance can be top class, the performance can be 100%. And as a result, it's looking good, and as a result, it can move faster, right? So we often tend to get in the whole the short term goals, rather have as a lifestyle goal and aim for a longer longevity.
No, this has been quite, I would say, eye opening. You've definitely busted a few myths for me, and I definitely agree. All of us girls need to think more of ourselves as those Formula race cars, right? Focusing not just on the aesthetic but also on the performance. And I know,
Right.
Tanvi, that having starting work with you, I have also learned how much there is importance on your protein intake, and I wish we could sometimes have a conversation about that, right?
Definitely.
Because that's also been extremely eye opening to me, right? And I
Yes.
have definitely stopped, looking at the scale for a drop
Hmm.
in the grams or the kilos, but focusing more on the inches and the strength. And I can see the difference in just less than but a year of starting strength training. I don't feel like stopping now for sure.
Wow.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. So thank you so much, Tanvi. It's been amazing. And thank you for everybody for watching us today. And wishing all the women out there a very happy Women's Day.